Poland is changing. This is the Poland you are probably picturing, bleak and grey, but this is the old Poland. This is the new Poland, a sophisticated, modern, and somewhat confused American tributary state. You might be wondering, what is going on in Poland today, if Poland's still based? Well, I'll try to answer that question and tell you a few of the important things going on in Poland today. Poland is a very divided country politically, and perhaps have the largest political divide between young men and women in Europe. For example, one recent survey found that among men aged 18 to 30, 62% said they support nationalist, populist, or far-right parties. Polish women are much more likely to be liberal. In another survey, Poles under 40 were asked to name the biggest threats facing Poland. Among women, the most popular answer was the climate crisis, while among men, it was gender ideology and the LGBT movement. Let's go back to this picture. The largest political manifestation in Poland over the last year is Strajk Kobiety, women's strike. This massive protest movement is over a judicial ruling that tightened Poland's abortion law. Women all over Poland took to the streets. Previously, women were able to abort for eugenic reasons of disability or incurable disease such as Down syndrome. The judges ruled that eugenic abortion violates the Constitution. In 2019, nearly all of the 1,100 legal abortions performed in Poland were for eugenic reasons. This is a small number compared to the number of Polish women who traveled to countries like Ukraine and Germany for abortions. Critics argued that the Constitutional Court has been packed by law and justice. It's true. Judicial reform, rule of law in Poland is its own video. To understand Poland today, you have to understand power in law and justice is held by one man, Jarosław Kaczynski. However, he is 71 years old and needs to pass on the torch, so we have a competition of 40, 50-year-old ministers who are positioning themselves as a successor. One of these men is Ziobro. He is more conservative and is the current Minister of Justice. One of his proposals is to make it illegal for tech companies to censor legal speech in Poland. Quote, "Freedom of speech and public debate constitute the very essence of democracy. When the state cannot guarantee these essential freedoms, manifest in many areas of our public and social life, there can be no democracy. To engage in censorship means to deny these freedoms. Today, many discussions and much of a political and ideological debate takes place online. Some even say that the internet is where most of our public debate happens nowadays." End quote. Note that the principle of speech in Poland differ from America and is currently evolving. The next thing I want to mention is controversial but important to talk about. One of the major issues in Poland is that there is a contemporary shifting in the narrative that Poland was not a victim but actually a persecutor in the war. This shift is potentially very dangerous to Poland, as everyone understands how Germany is politically restrained from being nationalist for this reason. For a lot of stories I want to cover in this channel, probably a mix of history and current events, description of media narrative in Poland, hot Polish takes you won't get anywhere else.